Hello everybody, my name is Sydney and welcome to probably the only redstone tutorial you will ever see on my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you how to build this bamboo farm that you see behind me, which is originally by Xisuma, as showed in one of his more recent episodes of Hermitcraft this season on their Hermitcraft x Empires SMP crossover event. It is a wonderful bamboo farm and works like a charm and is perfect for building up your bamboo supply for the new 1.20 update that is coming very soon to Minecraft. So I will link Xisuma's original video in the description down below, as well as the info card that you see on your screen right now. I highly recommend going and checking out his video for a better explanation of how exactly this farm works and a better, detailed view of this farm. So for now, let's go ahead and jump over to a flat world where I can show you how to build it. Alright, I am now over in a single player world where I have a lot of my random builds that I've done on different servers. So real quick, here's a list of all of the materials that you will need. My original build, I used powered rails for every single rail. In the build that I will be showing you, I used regular rails. Saves you a little bit of resources. So once you have those all collected, then you can come back and we will get started on the tutorial. Okay, so once you have all of your materials gathered, we can go ahead and start building. I'm going to be starting with the collection area, just because it's going to be a little bit easier to build that first. I'm going to be making mine about 2 blocks in the air. It's going to make things a little bit easier. You can make yours down in the ground. You can make it way up in the air. Totally up to you. So I'm going to start with our target block, our note block, our observer, and then I'm going to place a temporary block here. We've got a dropper facing upwards and a dispenser facing upwards. And you need a hopper going into your dropper, and then your cauldron on top of the hopper, and then you're going to fill your cauldron with lava. That's going to be what breaks your minecarts and feeds it back into the loop. So we're going to go ahead and make this 12 wide. So 2. Okay, then once you have your cauldrons filled with lava, you're then going to place a mud block on top of every single one of them. And then you'll be able to place rails on top of those. And the mud block is what is going to allow the minecarts, when they break, to fall through, since it's not a completely full block. Then you're going to take a redstone block, or a block of redstone, whatever you want to call it. And these are going to go on top of the rails, and that's what's going to power them going down that way. Then on this side, I'm going to place another temporary block. And on this row, you're going to put your building block. Again, I'm using glass. Use whatever block you would like here. And then on this block is going to be your amethyst crystals. And that is what is going to be breaking the minecarts as they come back up to this rail here. Okay, and then I did goof a little bit with placing the note blocks down first. We will take care of that here in a second. right now, you're going to take your slab and you're going to place it on the bottom half of the mud. And then from there, you're going to take a block and place it against the hoppers. So your block's there, and then go ahead and place a second block or a second row of blocks along those. And once you've got that second row placed, you're going to then take your pad rails so that they don't connect. No worry, we will be breaking this row here in a little bit. This is just to get them all placed properly. If you know a better way of doing this, I implore you to please do that. This is just the way that works for me. And once you have those placed, you're then going to waterlog each of them. It helps if you have a barrier here. We will take care of that here momentarily. So you're going to go ahead and waterlog each of those. And then as you're making a mess, you can then clean it up. You're going to want to leave a block of space where you will have your air gap, and then on this row of blocks is where you're going to put your glow lichen. I'm going to put a block there just for good measure. And then we'll go ahead and put our glow lichen along this row here to stop the flow of water. And then from here, right underneath in this row, you can make a collection system of your choice. And then that is what that back side is going to look like when you're done. Then from here is where I messed up a little bit, because you're going to want to have hoppers going into, or not hoppers, observers going into your note blocks. So I'm again going to place a temporary block, and you're going to want it to have the arrow pointing into your note block. Since I've already got this all placed, I'm just going to break my note blocks, and then I'll replace those here in a moment. And I'm going to place down temporary blocks to place the observers against. Get all of those placed. And then from there, go ahead and replace all of your note blocks. Like so, and then we can get rid of our temporary blocks. And then here, you're also going to want blocks as well, because we're going to have rails going across all of these. So go ahead and place a row of blocks there, as well as a row of blocks on top of your target blocks. And that then leads to rails. All right, and now we get to place some more rails. So go ahead and place your powered rails on this row of blocks here, and then your detector rails on top of your observers. And then we're going to do one more set of powered rails here. And that is what this section of your farm should look like. Okay, now we're going to move on to some redstone. It's going to make this half work. So you're going to want to put a block here, and then a block here with a piece of redstone on it, right? I believe so. And then here you're going to have a redstone repeater on 4 ticks. Then you're going to have another repeater here. And then here you're going to have a redstone torch. And these all need to be made out of solid blocks, not glass like I'm using. It's the one exception to how I'm building. And then on this row of blocks here, you're going to place redstone dust going all the way along, and then that will eventually get powered by this. Okay, and then with this section done, we're going to go ahead and move on to the growing, if you will, platform that goes above this. So you really just need grass or dirt, can be either one, and then your bamboo, and then you'll need one note block and then a couple of observers. So here in this corner, you're going to put, there's going to be a rail right here, and then you'll put your note block right here that is going to be used to trigger the minecarts. And then from there, just fill this in with grass all the way down as long as you'd like to make it. Ours is going to be 26 blocks long that way, and then it is 12 this way. So let's just go ahead and start placing some grass. Alright, and then once you have your grass platform all built up, you're going to put a observer here, and I believe I'm gonna break this one just so I can go down. It goes like so that the face is pointing towards the sky. And we'll just replace that block there. And then when our flying machine flies over top of it, that is going to send a signal to the note block, which then sends its signal down to here because there's going to be more observers and such. And that's going to then power here. So we're going to go ahead and put that in right now. You're going to want an observer like that. And then you're going to have another observer like that, which will then observe the change in this one and send the signal to this redstone. And it's a whole thing. All right, and now let's go ahead and put in our rail system down here. Okay, so I'm going to start at this back end of the farm and build my way that way. I've got the first row of blocks already in place. And then we're just going to go ahead and place these along. If I could place the right blocks. I'm going to make that all powered. And then we're just going to go ahead and do this all the way across, just mimicking this row all the way across. Okay, and with that, our rail system underneath should be done. And we can move on to the upper half. Okay, so I'm going to be using glazed terracotta for mine. You can use glazed terracotta of any color. I'm choosing green because bamboo, right? You can also use obsidian, which is going to be a little bit more costly, in my opinion. But you really just want anything that's not going to stick to your flying machine. So any immovable block is going to be perfect for this. So we're going to want a full block going across this to allow the minecarts to be sent back. And then just build these layers up. Just make a nice box around your grass or dirt, whatever you're using. And then you're also going to want to put one row in front of your grass blocks or your dirt blocks just to prevent endermans from stealing them. I would say you could probably use trapdoors, but I don't know how well that would work, or if the redstone on top would cause them to constantly be flipping up and down. So we're just going to be using glazed terracotta here. Okay, then once you have your initial layer, you're going to want to make this wall too tall. So let's go ahead and put in our second layer. That our box is too high on the walls, we're going to move on to the redstone that goes on this back side. So you're going to want to put your block here on each corner. There's eventually going to be blocks here. Just go with me. So on this side, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. And on this side, we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Not there. And now we've got a 3 block gap here in the middle. You're going to put a terracotta block here. And then you're going to make a platform that is a 4x3. Like so. And then we're going to put a observer facing into or pointing into this block here. The face looking at you if you were to be standing over here. Then we're going to put a target block here. And then you put a piece of redstone here. And then 2 repeaters. You're going to have a lever that goes on top of the redstone, or on top of the target block. You're going to have a repeater going into the target block. And then one next to it facing the opposite direction on 2 ticks. Put redstone on both of those. And then a redstone torch right there. And that is going to create the first half of your redstone clock. Now we get to move it to either side. So now moving on to this side, we're going to put a repeater here. And then 12 pieces of redstone dust. 12. Okay, to do the side bit, you're going to go the 3rd from the end, drop down a block. You're going to make a platform that looks like this. You're going to put a piece of terracotta here and one here. We're going to have a repeater going into this one. 2 going into this one. And then 2 going into those. And a piece of redstone dust. And then you'll skip this block and then continue your redstone this way. And then you'll have terracotta here. And now we can move on to this side. It's essentially the same as the other. You've got a repeater. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Third, drop down. Okay, the only difference on this side is that you're also going to need another piece of terracotta here, so you'll have one in the corner, and then one more next to it. So it's one less piece of redstone than the other one. And now that we've got all of the redstone in, I'm going to go ahead and flip the lever and turn it off. And then from there, now we're going to build another set of walls, if you will, but it's going to be inset by 1, and it's just going to prevent some of the growth of the bamboo, but also act as a barrier wall so that if some of it does get too high, it'll hit the wall and not all go flying over the edge. So go ahead and put this set of blocks in. Okay. And then about halfway in between the two sides, about in the middle, I'm going to do it here where this break in the redstone is. You're just going to put a row right across there. That's going to allow, as the flying machine comes through, any bamboo pieces that are stuck on top of the honey or the slime blocks, this is going to act as the pusher for those bamboo pieces so that they'll get pushed onto the ground and then be picked up by the minecarts underneath. And as for the structure itself, we are finished. Now it's time to put in the flying machine. Okay, so for this you should just need sticky pistons, slime blocks, and honey blocks. So I'm going to put a sticky piston here, and then honey blocks all along this side. And then on this side, I'm going to break a few. You want another piston here. Place your honey, and then slime blocks along this side. And that should be it. I'm going to go ahead and power this just to make sure that it's working. And it is. We see it go off. And then as it gets to this side, it should bounce back and go back towards the other side. So let's go ahead and turn it off. And now you can place your bamboo. And then make sure as you're placing your bamboo that you're making sure to get it on every single block, as it does place wonky on each of them. And it is very easy to skip a block and not realize. Alright, now once your bamboo is all placed, everything should work properly. So let's go ahead and turn this back on and we'll watch it in action. So see, we've got some stuck on top. Those will get pushed off by this block here in the middle, just like that. And then as it comes here is where minecarts would get triggered. So let's go ahead and place all of our minecarts. I'm going to be doing this the way I did it the first time I built this as well, where I did not put the minecarts in first. So you're going to want minecarts with hoppers. I'm going to turn this off really quick just so it doesn't trigger the minecarts as I'm putting them in. So I'm going to take all of these rails off, and then in each of the dispensers, I'm going to put a single hopper. You could also put them in the hoppers below, I suppose, and they should eventually make their way up to the dispenser. Okay, and now we just replace the rails. And then we'll turn it back on. So as it comes here, it should send a signal and the minecarts go. Turn around, come back, come up, break, and there goes your bamboo. And that's going to come back. And there they go again. And just like that, your bamboo farm is pretty much complete. And like I said, down here, you can make whatever storage and collection system you choose. It is totally up to you, but then this is just going to continue to run. And if it ever does get stuck, you should just have to power it off and then power it back on. And it should re-trigger the redstone. And with that, your bamboo farm should now be complete, and you should be getting as much bamboo as your heart could ever desire. Remember, before you go, to leave a like and comment on this video if it did help you out and if you enjoyed it. And don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell for notifications on when I post a new video. Like I said at the beginning, this will probably be the only redstone tutorial you'll ever see on my channel, but that's okay because it's a good one. And it will be extremely useful for when the new 1.20 update comes out here in the coming months. So with that, I'm going to go. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you all next time. Goodbye!